Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from third group. Today, we will present our material. The material is translation procedures. Okay, so the first is the explanation about translation procedures. But before we're going to the explanation of translation procedures, let me introduce myself. My name is Ivan Rufadila. Okay, next. Translation procedures are the technical devices used to transfer the meaning of a text in one language into a text in another language. Translation procedures involve essentially adding structural or lexical elements to those present in the source language or subtracting from them. Eliminating elements that are obligatory in the source language but unnecessary in the target language, or with no counterpart there, and where disparity between the two media goes beyond language patterns. Adapting the content of the message so that the target language text will come as close as possible to the intent of the source language text and create a similar impact. So di sini prosedur penerjemahan itu adalah perangkat yang digunakan untuk mentransfer makna suatu teks dalam satu bahasa ke teks bahasa lain. Nah, prosedur penerjemahan ini pada dasarnya itu melibatkan yang pertama itu adding, yaitu penambahan elemen struktural atau leksikal yang ada dalam source language atau bahasa awal atau sumber bahasa. Ada juga subtracting, yaitu mengurangi elemen struktural atau leksikal yang ada dalam bahasa sumber. Ada juga eliminating. Eliminating ini yaitu menghilangkan elemen yang wajib dalam bahasa sumber atau SL yang tidak diperlukan di TL, yaitu target language. Ada juga adapting. Adapting ini mengadaptasi isi pesan agar target language atau bahasa target bisa sedekat mungkin dengan makna bahasa sumber atau SL, begitu, atau sebaliknya. So, the next is the examples of translation procedures. From the examples, you can see that the change from source language into target language calls for addition, subtraction, adaptation, and untranslatableness. Okay, so for the first example, there is adding, penambahan. In source language, saya guru, but in target language, I am a teacher. We cannot translate I teacher. So we must adding, kita harus menambahkan MNA. I am a teacher. And then for the second example, there is adding to, same like the first example. Harry tidak merokok in source language. And then for the target language, Harry does not smoke. And the next is the third example, subtracting, yaitu eliminating atau pengurangan. So, subtracting is used to eliminating elements that are obligatory in source language but unnecessary in target language. So, the source language is saya kembali ke rumah. And then the target language, I return home. Just like that. And for the fourth example, there is subtracting plus adapting. In source language, Paul is a bookworm. So in target language, Paul kutu buku. So in here, subtracting, eliminating, we must eliminate elements that are unnecessary in target language. In bahasa, we can translate Paul kutu buku. No, Paul adalah seorang kutu buku. Not like that. And for the adapting, in this fourth example, bookworm, kita bisa menyesuaikan artinya itu yaitu kutu buku, seperti itu, like that. And then for the next example is adding plus adapting. In source language perlu diketahui bahwa bla 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 bla. And then in the target language, we must adding its before necessary, because we cannot just necessary to know that it's not like that. So we must adding its. It's necessary to know that bla 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 bla. For the adapting, in source language in here diketahui, so we must translate to target language to know, not in know, not like that. So we must use to know. And then for the last example is adding plus untranslatable. In source language, saya mau melihat jaran kepang. So in the target language we can translate I want to see jaran kepang. Nah, we're adding to after one and before see, because it's not possible if we translate like this, I want see jaran kepang. It's not like that because the grammar. So we must adding to, and then for untranslatable yaitu jaran kepang. So in here jaran kepang is not, tidak di-translate, tidak diterjemahkan, tetap seperti itu.
Hello, my name is Anna Fitriani. I will explain about translation procedures. Number 1 is transference. Transference or loan word transcription means rendering the sounds of a search language into the target language form. The example, in Indonesian Ahmad, in English Ahmed, in Indonesian orang hutan, in English orangutan, in Indonesian kakak tua, in English kokatsu, in Indonesian tempe, in English tempe. Number 2 is transliteration. This is the process of rendering the letters of one alphabet into the letters of another with a different alphabetical system. For example, from the Russian Cyrillic alphabet into the Latin alphabets. Number 3 is borrowing. Borrowing is a case where a word or an expression is taken from the source language and used in the target language, but it in a naturalized form. A procedure often used when the target language has no equivalent for the source language unit is to adopt them without change, but sometimes with spelling or pronunciation adjustment. The example, in Indonesian durian, in English durian. In Indonesian rambutan, in English rambutan. In Indonesian batik, in English batik.
The next procedure of translation is literal. Literal is one-to-one structural and conceptual correspondence. So when we translate literally, we are translating word for word. The example buku, the translation is book. Saya pergi ke sekolah, I go to school. Rina sedang menari, Rina is dancing. We know that there are no changes of the structural and conceptual literature language or search language. So we use this literal translation because they have same grammatical structure. The next is transposition. Transposition is a translation which replaces a grammatical structure in the SL that has different type in the TL to achieve the same effect without changing the meaning. The example, celana panjang, in Indonesian, it is a phrase. The translation is trousers. It becomes only a word in English. Jawaban yang bagus in Indonesian, noun is before adjective, but in English, noun is after the adjective. So the translation is good answer. Perlu diketahui bahwa menulis itu penting, it is passive voice. When we want to translate into English, we must replace a grammatical structure. So the translation is, you should know that writing is important. It means become active voice. Transposition reflects to grammatical change that occurs in translation from SL to TL without change the meaning.
I am Anna Khurunisa. I want to explain about modulation. This technique requires a high level of creativity because we are required to see another point of view from a sentence. Modulation techniques is a translation technique that is done by changing our point of view focus lexically from the search language. For example, you are going to have baby. The main focus of the search language is we will receive something. It means baby. But at target language, the point of view has changed. The second point of view focuses more on the result of having children. It means being parents. In other words, sentence modulation techniques are used to change the reader's point of view by changing the lexical element or meaning of word.
I am Anna Khurunisa. I want to explain about modulation. This technique requires a high level of creativity because we are required to see another point of view of a sentence. Actually, modulation techniques is a translation technique that is done by changing our point of view focus lexically from the search language. For example, you are going to have a baby. The main focus of the search language is we will receive something. It means baby. But at target language, the point of view has changed. The second point of view focuses more on the result of having children. It means being parents. In other words, sentence modulation techniques are used to change the reader's point of view by changing the lexical element or meaning of word. Okay, the next, adaptation. This technique is known as the culture adaptation techniques. This technique is carried out by replacing culture elements that exist in search language with culture elements that are similar to those in target language. This can be done because the culture elements in search language are not found in the target language, or the cultural elements in the target language are more familiar to the target readers. For example, as well as now and don't cry over the split milk. That's all simple explanation about adaptation. Thank you.
Okay, the next about adaptation. This technique is known as the culture adaptation technique. This technique is carried out by replacing culture elements that exist in search language with culture elements that are similar to those in target language. This can be done because the culture element in search language are not found in the target language, or the culture elements in the target language are more familiar to the target reader. For example, as white as snow and don't cry over the split milk.
Hello, my name is Lutfi. I'm going to explain about the levels of equivalence. Equivalence may be defined as a level of conformity between the meaning and style of translated text and the underlying text. Equivalence consists of the concept of sameness and similarity. It has the same or a similar effect or meaning in translation. The level of equivalence in ascending order as follows. The first is substitution of printed letter for printed letter. For example, from Arabic into Roman, from Japanese into Roman, and from Chinese into Roman. The second is substitution of morpheme for morpheme. For example, kerja equal to work, pekerja equal to worker. Pekerja get perfect pe, and in the word worker get a suffix er. The third is substitution of word for word. For example, careful, the meaning is hati-hati, open, the meaning is terbuka, and university, the meaning is universitas. When that search language is one word, then the translation is one word too. Number 4 is substitution of phrase for phrase. When source language is a phrase, then the translation should be phrase. For example, a careful worker, seorang pekerja yang hati-hati. Open university, the meaning is universitas terbuka. The next is substitution of sentence for sentence. For example, Mariani is a careful worker in the Open University. The meaning is Mariani seorang pekerja yang hati-hati di UT. When the search language is a sentence, the target language should be a sentence too. Number 6 is substitution of paragraph for paragraph. When the search language is a paragraph, then the translation of the target language is a paragraph too. The last is substitution of discourse for discourse.
Okay, so we have just present about our material. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask.